Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Chelsea and today we are talking all things romantasy. Cassidy from Covers with Cassidy recently announced a year-long reading challenge with nothing but romantasy books, and we are trying to fill this romantasy bingo board. I'm so excited to do this challenge because I love romantasy. It's like my bread and butter, and I just feel like sometimes I need to stretch myself a little bit. I tend to get into a little bit of a rut when it comes to romantasy books, so I'm hoping that this challenge will help me just stretch myself a little bit and maybe get out of my comfort zone a little bit and find some new favorite books. Let's go ahead and jump into my TBR for romantasy bingo. The first square on this bingo board is a new release, and you have to read it in the year that it is published, and the hard mode is that it is a debut author. So for this, I am choosing Direbound by Sable Sorensen. This was comped to me as Fourth Wing meets The Hunger Games, but with wolves, and I'm here for it. To be honest, I am only picking this book for this year because it was pubbed in 2025 because I'm currently reading this book, so I know it'll count for this prompt. The next square we have is Hidden Identity, and the hard mode for this is that it's not royalty. I am going to choose The Road of Bones. I think this is going to count for hard mode, but if it does not, I'm totally fine with that. I'm not like I have to black out all hard mode, but I am going to try for hard mode where I can. So we're going to try to pick up The Road of Bones. This is a first in a series, and the tagline is A Woman on the Run, a crew of Viking mercenaries, a forbidden romance, and the secret which threatens them all. I love forbidden romance, and I'm hoping this is a winner for me. I've had this on my Kindle for a couple of years, and I'm excited to jump into it. The next square on the bingo board is a Take Down the System, and the hard mode is a dystopian setting, and I will be choosing To Cage a Wild Bird. I've been seeing this book everywhere and have been hearing nothing but incredible things about it. The tagline is Enter the brutal world of Enlock, a prison where the wealthy hunt the inmates for sport. The first novel in an electrifying dystopian romance series, this high-octane debut about forbidden love, found family, and a fight for survival will leave you breathless. I'm so excited to pick this up. I was actually going to do this for the first square, but I'm just not certain I'm going to get to it this year, so we're going to read it in 2026. I also forgot to mention that this reading challenge goes from November 1st, 2025 to October 31st, 2026, and the only parameters is it has to have fantasy and romance, so we can't have like a fantasy with like a small romance subplot. It has to be like a main plot point in the book, and you can only choose one author per square, so I can't just like block out with all of my Sarah J. Maas rereads. I have to choose books very specifically for one author, and I think that's really going to help me stretch myself, but let's get back to the board. The next square on this board is a BIPOC author, and the hard mode is with flowers on the cover, and I'm going to be choosing Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair for this. I have had this on my radar for years and years, and I just haven't yet read it. This is a Hades and Persephone retelling. I love Hades, so I think this is going to be a win for me. I also think this is the first in a new series, so yay for picking up another series in which I need to add to my series tracker and I will never finish, but hopefully I'll like this one. The next square is first person POV, and the hard mode is a new to you author, and for that I am choosing The Last Wolf by Maria Vale. I have this full series on my physical TBR except for the first book, so I'm gonna have to check that out from the library, or I think it might be on Hoopla, so this could be a good audiobook. This is giving like 2000s paranormal fantasy, and I'm totally here for that, so I'm really hoping that I will like this series because I own all of the copies, and I just think like a fun wolf binge would be like such a fun time. All right, the next row is a title that says blank of blank without any extra words, and this was actually harder than I thought. The hard mode is that it's not fae, and the current book I have in this square is Servant of Earth. This is a fae romance, so if I find something else that fits the bill better, I will enter this for hard mode, but right now we're just gonna stick with Servant of Earth. I have heard incredible things about this book, and I do think book 2 just came out or is coming out, I can't remember, but I heard incredible things when Servant of Earth first came out, and I'm intrigued to see like what the hype is and if this book is going to be for me. All right, the next square is an Indie to Trub pipeline, and the hard mode is that it's a sequel, and I'm going to be reading the third book in the Wolf King trilogy. This is the first book in the series, and I read books 1 and 2 earlier this year. When I first read this book, it was not traditionally published, but it recently got picked up, which is so exciting, and book 3 I believe is coming out next summer, so I will be adding that to this square. The next prompt is Rep Matters, and the hard mode is Own Voices. And for this square, I'm going to be reading Oathbound, which is book 3 in the Legendborn series. This is a King Arthur retelling on its head, in which we follow a 16-year-old girl whose family history is deeply entrenched in the lore of King Arthur and his descendants. And honestly, I've tried to pick up book 3 this year and could not remember anything from book 2. So I'm going to have to reread this entire trilogy before book 4 comes out. Next, we have Start a New Series, and the hard mode is that the author writes in multiple genres. I'm so excited about this book. I'm going to be choosing Second Death of Locke for this square. This is giving Nightcore, and after I read The Knight and the Moth, like that's all I want to read. I believe it has tons of yearning. We've got a knight and a mage who fall in love, and I believe this is the first in a standalone series, which is very exciting. And this author, I found out, writes YA horror, so this is going to count for hard mode as well. All right, the next square is an urban setting, and the hard mode is that it is a secondary world, not ours, and I'm going to be choosing book 3 in the House of Devil series, which is City of Lies and Legends. This is the first book in the series. It reminds me so much of House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J Maas, which is like my favorite book by her. And if you're looking for a rec for this square, I would highly recommend either adding this one or Crescent City one, because Chef's Kiss, so good. I love an urban fantasy setting, and this is giving me everything that I want in it. I will say this is not like my all-time favorite series, but like I have a great time every time I read it, and I tend to listen to this because it is like multi-POV, which is really fun in this world. So I'm hoping to finish the series. There are only 4 books. I hope there's only 4 books. There are 4 books out right now. There might be 5 books in the series, so I'm hoping to at least catch up to where we are in the current series next year. The next square is Ghosts and Ghouls, and the hard mode is that the love interest is one. And for this, I'm going to be choosing Half City by Kate Golden. This book comes out in February, and this follows our FMC, who is a demon hunter, and she kind of gets roped into attending an academy for demon hunters. But there's also like, I believe our love interest is a demon, and I think that's quite forbidden as she is a demon hunter. So this should be really fun. I love Kate Golden's writing. I love her as an author, as a person. I'm very excited to read this one, and I believe it's a new series for her. So I'm hoping we can follow our FMC and maybe some other characters in this like academic setting that's taking place in an urban fantasy world. All right, next square is Voice Inside Your Head, and the hard mode is that it's not an animal companion. And for that, I'm going to be choosing Broken Dove, which is the sequel to Silver Elite by Dani Francis. This book took the book world by storm this year, and like I gave this book 4 stars. It was such a fun time, and I can't wait to see where this goes. Like this is everything that I love in reading, just like a fun, good time that brings everyone together, like squealing over characters. And I loved the ending of this, and I can't wait to see where it goes. They do talk to each other in their minds, so this book is the perfect fit for this prompt. All right, next we have Friend Rec, and the hard mode is that it's a recommendation from Cassidy's channel. So I'm gonna leave this one blank and see what she reads next year, and I'll fill this prompt with something that she recommends in 2026 that I think I'm gonna really like. The next square is Book Talk Hype, and the hard mode is that it's still indie at the time of reading. I feel like there are a few different options I could have for this. Currently, I have The Ascended as my option. I did not read the other books in this series. I believe you can read this as a standalone though, and I've been hearing about this everywhere. Like all of my friends are kind of like chattering about it. So I'm curious if I'm going to like this one, but if I find something else that I would rather put in the next few months that like pops up on Book Talk, I'll fit that one in, but currently I'm going to read The Ascended. Okay, the next square is Forbidden Romance, and the hard mode is that it's not enemies to lovers. I'm going to be reading A Forbidden Alchemy. In this square, the tagline is, "The stunning slow burn romantasy follows a fated pair who uncover a world-changing secret and are thrust into a violent class war, navigating love, loss, and devastating betrayals." This is the first in a new trilogy, I believe, and I have some really good friends in real life who read this one recently and absolutely loved it, so I'm excited to jump into this one. And I do believe it's now on Kindle Unlimited, which is very exciting. The next square is Trials, and the hard mode is an academic setting. I will be choosing choosing Arcana Academy for this square. A woman who wields magical tarot cards lands herself in a false engagement with the headmaster of a mysterious academy. I think they use the cards to fight in the trials in this book. I'm not quite certain. I believe this was recommended for this square, but when I was reading about it, I didn't see anything about trials. So I think it's going to be like, I'm going to read it and make sure it fits this prompt. And if not, I'm going to need some recommendations. So leave them down below if you have a better recommendation for this particular square. The next prompt is 2+ love interests and the hard mode that it's not a love triangle. I'm not so certain about this square, but I'm going to be choosing Warrior Princess Assassin by Bridget Kemmerer. I do love this author. I have enjoyed everything she's written that I've read, so I'm hopeful that I will also like this, but I think this is a poly romance, and that's not my favorite, but I'm gonna give it a shot. So we're gonna try Warrior Princess Assassin. The next square is a single POV, and the hard mode is that it was published 5 or more years ago. I'm going to be reading Dark Fever by Karen Marie Moning in this square. This follows a FMC who can see Fae in our current world, and the boundary between the two worlds begins to crumble, and Mac is racing the clock to protect both worlds from evil. This is the first in a series, and the series is quite long. I don't know if it's like several books and then another series that's like interconnected, but there were quite a few books when I looked this one up. I'm hopeful that I will like this one. I think it's giving like 2000s urban paranormal fantasy, which again, I love, but sometimes the writing can be a little bit challenging. So I'm hoping that I will really like this one and want to continue in the series as well. Next up, we have Court Setting, and the hard mode is this animal on the cover, and I'm going to be choosing His Face is the Sun. I don't know much about this book, but I think one of the characters is a princess, so I'm assuming we have the court setting in this, so hopefully this fits the bill, and I've had this on my physical TBR for almost a year. This came out in May. This is the art copy, and I still haven't gotten around to it, so I would love an excuse to pick this up. We have A Whole New World, and that's like portal fantasy, and the hard mode is that it's a reimagining or retelling, and I don't have any books that fit hard mode for this, so if you have a recommendation, please leave it down below. I'm not looking to read Bonded by Thorns, which seems to be the one book that people keep recommending for this square, so if you have another recommendation, please give it to me because I have nothing for this. The next square is Reluctant Allies to Lovers, and the hard mode is Marriage of Convenience. I am choosing House of Vein and Blood for this square. This is taken directly from Cassidy's recommendations, and I think that this book has been on my TBR for quite a while. I think it's also on my 25 to read in 2025, so if I can read this in the next couple of months, I'd be able to check that book off, which would be great. And I think Cassidy did say that she like made this square for this book, so I feel like it has to be read. We are almost to the end here. The next square is a one-word title, and the hard mode is Gothic. For this, I'm choosing Enigma. I think this is a fantasy romance, like a dark romance, so I'm hoping this will fit the prompt, but this is by Runix, and I really enjoyed Runix's Mafia romance series, so I'm hoping that I will also like this one. The next square is a shifter romance, and the hard mode is that it's not a wolf, and for this I'm going to put Heartless Sky by the Twisted Sisters. This is book 7 in the Zodiac Academy series, and I've been 50-something% into this book for quite a while, and I just need an excuse to finish it. Will I finish the entire Zodiac Academy series? We shall see, but I at least want to finish Heartless Sky next year, so we're going to put this on the list. We also have so many different types of shifters, so this will definitely count for hard mode. Then we have a weapon on the cover, and the hard mode is that it's a powerless main character. I am going to put, for now, I'm going to put The Things Gods Break by Abigail Owen on this square. This will not fit hard mode, I don't think, because I think our main character does get powers in this book, but in book 1, she doesn't have any powers, so like, can I stretch it? Can I not? I don't know. We'll see. If I don't hit hard mode, that's fine, but it does have a weapon on the cover, so I at least fit this square for easy mode. If you have a recommendation for hard mode, please leave it down below so I can add it if I want to, but I cannot wait to read this book. I loved the games Gods Play when I read it earlier this year, so I'm really hopeful that I'm gonna like the sequel as well. And the final block on this TBR is a chunky series, 4+ books, and the hard mode is that it's a series interconnected with another, and for this I'm going to be choosing Reign of Shadows and Endings by Melissa K. Roerick. I think that's her last name. And this is interconnected with the Lady of Darkness series. I read book 1 in the series and I liked it. I didn't love it. I'm still on the fence if I'm going to continue that series, but everyone raves about this particular book and I think it's a little bit darker and I just want to give it a shot because when I hear people talk about a book, I want to see if I like it as well. So I love that this challenge is allowing me to try some books that I have kind of been on the fence about or I'm not sure if I'm gonna like. So I am excited to read these 25 books in the next year. If you have any recommendations for any of these squares that you think I would like better than the books that I've currently put on them, please put them down in the comments below and let me know if you are also going to be joining this challenge in the next year. I'm so excited to see everyone's TBRs and their recommendations and their reading vlogs over the next year of this romantasy bingo. But thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you have a wonderful day and hopefully I will catch you in the next one soon.